Okay, so a few days ago was the premiere of Survivor 46. There's almost been 50 seasons of this show. That is
Wow.
actually wild.
And you started watching it when you were 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was what, 99?
Yeah, in Okinawa.
Yeah, that is wild.
Yeah.
By the way, as you may or may not have noticed, there is a guest on for this episode who I would love to have in the other Survivor videos. Would you
Hi.
like to introduce yourself?
I'm Josh's mom, and my name is Beverly. And I'm originally from a little country in Africa called Eswatini. And Josh is my baby. I call
Yes.
him Baba.
Yes, she does. And if you've noticed me ever call my cat Bubba or Bubby or Baba, it's something very similar to that. But I thought, I started watching Survivor with my mom, and
Yep.
it's like, well, if I'm going to be doing this for this season like I've done for the last couple, I think this would be a really fun thing. So I asked her if she wanted to. She said that was cool.
Yep.
So would you like to start talking about 46, talking about the episode, about Jelinski?
Well, first of all, I was really excited when I saw Jeff announcing. It was like 3 days or a week before it started. I was like, oh, a new Survivor? And excited to watch it. For me, the first episode wasn't as interesting as most of the first episodes.
So why would you say that?
Because I was drifting, watching, drifting, drifting. But I guess I eventually got into it because I had this love-hate relationship with Zelensky. His enthusiasm. I mean, he was so enthusiastic.
He even says very early on, he's like, Survivor is all about being legends, and Jelinski is a legend. He's a legend, all right. Like, he lived up to that billing. It was great.
He's a legend because he got voted out number 1. But I kind of had this love-hate for him because he really thought he knew how to play Survivor. In his mind, he thought, I'm going to get very far. Mm-hmm. But he was such a coward. He was such a coward. I mean, what is Survivor about? Lies and trying to get away with dishonesty. And then he tells a lie and gets so afraid that he told a lie and goes ahead and tells the truth.
So I think you're specifically talking about when they were on the island and playing that game with the cards, right?
Yes.
Would you like to elaborate on that, like how the game worked a little bit more?
I can't quite remember. You do it.
Okay, so if I'm remembering it correctly, this was our journey, which what they've been doing like since Survivor 41 onwards, where you take one person from each tribe, put them on an island. It's like they all get on a boat. You can decide it however you want. Someone can volunteer. You can draw straws, however you want to do it. 3 people go on an island and usually play some kind of game. I think specifically in 41 and 42, it was the ship wheel thing, which is, do you want to risk your vote or not risk your vote? I think in these last few seasons, last 2 or 3, they've tried to mix up the games a lot more, so it's a lot more dynamic for the players as well as for us, the audience, watching. So this was, you have 3 cards.
Yep.
It was a torch, a skull, and parchment to represent a vote. So one person will draw a card, and they, I believe, have the torch, and they reveal that they have the torch.
Yes.
The other 2 will draw one card. You're not allowed to reveal what it is. So the goal is the person holding the torch is trying to correctly guess which of the 2 has the vote. If the torch person gets it right, they get an extra vote. The person with the vote card also gets an extra vote. The person with the skull card loses their vote. If the person with the torch card guesses incorrectly, the person with the skull card gets an extra vote and the other 2 lose their vote. So the 3 players, I don't remember all that. Jelinski was one of them. Jelinski drew the skull. I believe his name was Tevin, drew the vote. And he was the one who had the opening monologue of the season. I was like, I love this dude's voice.
Yes.
He sounds like he's such a great narrator already. He has very strong main character energy, but I really like it.
Yes.
And I don't remember the name of the woman who drew the torch card. But
It was the Charlie's Angels woman.
she was
Yeah.
one of the. Was
Yeah.
she the one that was
Yeah,
like in charge
yeah,
of that? Okay.
she was.
So she's like, okay, I drew this one. Now I want you guys like, all right, you tell me which card you have. You tell me which card you have. Both Tevin and Jelinski say, well, I've got the vote. Oh, well, I've got the vote. So what she says, she's like, okay, Jelinski, because she specifically singles out him because she says in her confessional, I was 100% sure he was bullshitting me, but just in case, I don't want to just go with my gut because I'm screwing myself over if that's the case. She's like, okay, Jelinski, if you're lying to me, I'm gonna be really upset. Like, she plays the mom card on him.
Yes, she did.
And it works to a T.
And
he's like, yeah, okay, like, I don't want to make you guys upset. I don't have that card, you know. I think also specifically
and before he opened his mouth, you could just see on his face the guilt on his face was like, you don't even have to open your mouth. You've told her that you were lying, you know. But what was interesting, Josh, every other tribe took some kind of a bet about who is going to go on the trip.
Mm-hmm.
Not Jelinski's tribe, because he just pushed that he wanted to go on that boat. No, I'm going. I know what to do. I know how to do it right. And then he flopped.
And the part that sells it for me, it's the part that broke his tribe. It's when he comes back and he explains it. Because he could have said anything and said, like, you know, blah, blah, blah happened. You know, I swung and I missed. It didn't work. Or, you know, I lied. I tried. Ultimately, she picked the other guy. It didn't work out. I'm sorry. And I think if that had happened, they would have said, you know, that sucks, but he tried. And it's the fact that he says, you know, I tried to lie. She pulled the mom card. I buckled. I folded.
In a game where you lie.
In a game where you're supposed to lie. In a game where, a game where, as Jeff always says, you gotta dig deep. It is about fighting. It's about fighting tooth and nail for every additional day. Everything you can do. They all just kind of saw, wow, he folded too quickly. And that's not it is not the first time it happened in this episode. It was would you like to talk about that one?
So they didn't win the challenge to get the machete and matches or whatever you call it. And so they had to choose a challenge. Were they the third or the second?
I don't remember if they were the second or the third.
Yeah, I can't really remember. But their challenge was to take this little water pitcher, fill it with water, and the pitcher had holes, and go and fill up this massive water pitcher. It was a tough challenge. I mean, that was you really had to dig deep to do something like that. And of course, it looked like it was really warm out there. And well, what did he do?
So the part that I remember, so he's working with another guy, I believe his name was Q. And as the challenge is going, Jelinski says at one point, he looks in the big pot, and he's like, look, we've been out here for a few hours.
Yes.
We've barely made a dent in this. The challenge says we have 4 hours to do this.
Yeah.
But says it will take several hours to complete.
Yes.
And Jelinski... Now, when I hear the word several, I just hear more than one. Like, one is one, a couple is two. Yeah. Anything more than that is like a few or several. It's just a way of saying it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
He heard that and specifically thought 7. Which, granted, SEV, like, I can see it. I feel like the root is in there. But I don't think I've ever heard the word several specifically meaning the number 7. But he did, and in his mind, he sees, this is going to take us, they're telling us we have 4 hours to do something that takes 7. We don't have enough time, and at the rate we're going, we're not going to have enough time. It's probably better if we just quit now because of how exhausted we're going to be, and we're not going to finish. He didn't have the energy.
He was on the sand quite often, just rolling.
There was this great moment where he just kind of sits there and then looks right into the camera without saying anything. It's like, this was straight out of The Office. It was hilarious. But on the one hand, I very much understand what he's saying. It's like, look, if this is not something that we can complete, maybe it's better that we stop and just reserve our energy.
Yes.
Because we will need that for stuff at camp. We'll need that for the immunity challenge. And if we win that challenge, not only do we not go to tribal, but we'll get the flint. We'll get the pot. We'll get the machete.
But he was with the wrong person.
He was with the wrong person. So you want to talk about that?
He came from a family of 14 children where you had to work hard for everything. So he just saw it as you're giving up.
Mm-hmm.
At least push and try. And he made sure to take that to the tribe, that he gave up. He just didn't want to, this is Survivor. You outlast, and he refused to do it. He just gave up, But I didn't see it as giving up. But he could have pretended to try. You pretend, but he didn't. He broke the timer.
Yeah, that was the best part, is he takes the hourglass that they're using and just throws it into the sand and it shatters. And I mean, if you watched 41 and 42 and you hated the hourglass twist as much as I did, it's very cathartic to see the hourglass breaking, but it was really funny. But another thing I had noticed is Jelinski's talking about, he's like, we're going to give up the challenge, but I feel like at least I've made a very strong ally in here, because we both went through this thing, and then it goes to Q saying, no, I'm noticing that this guy, when the going gets tough, he's going to get going. Like, he's just going to throw in the towel. And that's not someone I would entrust my fate to in Survivor. And then when the island thing happened, it's like, okay, now he's 0 for 2. It's not a great look.
Yeah, but he did kind of have a partnership with, what was that young lady's name?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Because there were...
She was drawn to him.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like...
I do remember that.
She was really, really drawn to him. And I think maybe the two of them could have gotten something going.
Mm-hmm.
They could have. Because they kind of had similarities.
Because they had formed like a pretty quick group of 4. It was Jelinski, Q, and then the 2 girls.
Yes.
And I specifically remember when they got their idol, they told Q, and they're like, okay, maybe don't tell Jelinski yet. He's like, I don't want to tell him anything. Yeah. That made me laugh pretty hard.
But at the same time, I feel like, at the end I was like, get this guy out. But when you think the trade-off, I think he would have brought more fun and excitement to the whole Survivor.
I miss him already. I was like, this guy is gold. I was like, I hope to see him every week on my screen.
Because the other lady,
Jess, I believe her name was.
Yeah, to me, it almost seemed like she was ready to go, but didn't want to openly just give up. Because they don't look upon you well in Survivor when you do
especially
that.
After last season where we had 2 different people quit and nobody liked that.
Yes, because you take a spot from somebody that could have gotten in, But I think to me, she looks like she's ready to quit, So I think they should have let her go and kept him in, because he was fun. He was really fun. I think he would have really made this episode of Survivor a great episode.
So do you want to say anything about the other couple tribes? So it was, I don't remember the names. There was Nami, Yulu or Yuvu, and I think Siga. I just don't remember which ones were which. But there's the purple tribe was Jelinski's. The orange tribe was the one that was winning.
Dominant,
yes, and then the green tribe was the one at the middle. So you want to go and talk about one of those two?
I like the orange tribe. It seemed to me they had a way of supporting each other and getting everybody involved. You know how they had the camp lady, the lady that would sing all the time. That's the orange tribe, right?
Yes, I think so. She was saying, like, I'm a camp counselor, and there was another guy saying, I've also been a camp counselor, and I hate the singing. He's like, I'm trying to be nice. She's driving me nuts. It was so funny.
He wasn't into the singing. But I think her singing, everybody just getting into the singing.
Like you could see everyone just having a good time. It really helped the morale.
It does. It did help the morale. And you know how Survivor, sometimes you see a couple of contestants in that they're out. They're always out, and they're trying to get in, and she's got everyone involved. She really is, and I really like her. I really, really like her. She's strong, and I think she's strong-minded and tough in the challenges. I think she's pretty tough in the challenges. I think we'll see
So
her
you're
for a
just
while.
remembering the giant geckos that they
Oh,
had
my
to
word.
Oh, that looked
Oh
awful.
my goodness, those geckos. Oh, just, and you could see what a struggle. I mean, those are
Those were huge.
built. Most of them were very well built contestants, and you could see it took your mind. It had to be the mind that's pushing you to. It's not it had to be the mind and the strength together, to get those geckos over.
And it was the singing tribe with the better morale that got it through. So I think you're right about that.
It is. It really is. And this time, there's no puzzle experts. It doesn't seem. Usually in Survivor, you have a puzzle expert that knows exactly how the puzzles go. This time, you don't really have a puzzle expert, but that group seems to work together to get things done. Yep.
But while we're talking about the Orange Tribe, there was a couple moments that stuck out to me. One of them, I believe her name was Liz. They were saying that she's like she owns multiple businesses. She's
Well, she bragged about it.
Yes, because I remember. I think again it was Tevin. Shout out to him. Was saying he's like, I just hear you talking about how wealthy you are. I think he specifically said he's like, look, I'm here for the money. And I was like, I respect that.
Absolutely.
He's like, I'm here for the money, so I know I don't want you here because like you're whatever. Or maybe he'll say, you're someone who people don't want to win because you're already rich, so come on over here. We'll see how that goes. But that was really fun. And there's a scene of them all on the beach, all in the water. And again, I think it's Tevin who was saying he's a big fan of the Andy Griffith Show.
Yes.
And there's a later part where he's talking to I think it was the guy who's like, I hate singing, but I'm a camp counselor. Was saying, he's like, yeah, I also watch Andy Griffith. Maybe we're the Andy Griffith Alliance.
Yeah.
And the edit turns it monochrome, starts playing the.
Yeah.
I was crying. It was so funny.
And of course, it's something we hear all the time.
Yeah, because my dad loves it. I watched a lot of it with my dad.
Yeah.
And then just in the corner, it just says like the Andy Griffith Alliance and like the font of the show. And it was like the Playing with the Boys segment last season. It was like we're already at like peak Survivor editing one episode in. It was great.
Yes, it was. It really was. Yeah, I think they're a good team. They're gonna go far. I think so.
And then anything about the Green Tribe, the Charlie's Angels?
Yeah, they're a strong tribe. They have a good leader. That lady, whatever, I don't remember what her name is, but I think they are going to be a good competition for the Orange Tribe. I think more mentally, more strategy than strength, because so far I haven't really seen the strength. But it was the first episode, so, I can't really say.
There was one part that really sticks out to me where one of the guys in the Green Tribe he's talking to the other two guys. He's like, here's what I think is going to happen. I think the women are going to band together, and I think they're going to try to get rid of us. Which on the one hand, he's absolutely right. Because we've seen the three women on this tribe say, we want to be a trio. Let's, take them out. We need one of the guys to work with us, so we'll get one of them, and then we can take out the other two and kind of see how it goes.
Yeah, but the strength, unfortunately.
Well, no, the thing that was cracking me up is he's right about what he's saying, but his logic is, I understand women, because I think he said, I have a wife and a grandma.
Yeah,
I know women. I have a wife and a grandma. I know women. And it was so bizarre.
Well, he's saying when women bond together, I mean, they will work things out and mostly win. That's the mind of them, and that's mothers. They take care of all their kids. They take care of their husbands. So yeah. If you get these women, if you allow them to get together and form this woman team, the guys might all be out. They might be, So he was right. He was be aware of these women.
So we'll definitely see how that unfolds. Is there anything else about the episode you'd like to say?
Well, Jeff, I think Jeff has gone back to being Jeff. You know how
They're just like a very sassy.
Yes,
I
yes,
love. One of
yes.
my favorite moments, Mom, was from last season. I think it was from the first episode or the second episode, or there's that guy Brandon, and there's like Brandon's trying to climb, I think like a slanted wall, but he falls.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's not easy to do. And there's a point like he falls, and Jeff just like, you gotta dig deep, Brandon. Like, he's trying to hype him up, but
Yeah.
then the camera just cuts to Brandon laying there on the ground, and just like the quick edit of Jeff trying to hype him up and Brandon looking like he's dead was really funny to
But
me.
I think Jeff's going to be Jeff again. I think so. Just the first episode, I saw that old Jeff that I loved. He kind of got a little bit soft and, would play it to where he's nursing everybody. And I think Jeff's going to be Jeff. And I'm really excited.
And we saw it
about
at Tribal with Jelinski, where Jelinski is trying to. He's like,
yeah.
You quit.
Yeah,
I think it's at one point.
That's
I think
Jeff.
Jelinski had said, he's like, like we're all
Yeah.
working hard.
Yeah.
I don't give up, but you've quit twice
Yeah.
already. You're like, yeah, I guess you're right.
That's Jeff. That's the Jeff that we know and love. So I'm excited. I'm really excited, I'm just excited. I love Survivor. That's it.
All right, so I think that's all for episode 1. That's 21 minutes. It's a decently sized video. So we will talk about the next episode after it happens. We'll probably try to get it a little sooner instead of recording on Sunday. Maybe not right after the episode, but maybe like the next morning or so. We'll see what we can do with it.
Okay.
All right. So that's it for this one. We will see you later.
Bye.